We live, baby. We're live. Got something in my mouth. All right. Yo, welcome to the Profit First Show. This is a Friday night show, so we have double the amount of reaction videos for tonight. Because it's Friday. Why not? You know what I'm saying? We got so many topics we're going to cover. First and foremost, shout out to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Shout out to everyone who is going to watch, chat, and comment because I do this to help share what's going on in the economy, what's going on with people's finances, and how can we learn from people's mistakes. So if you like this type of content anytime along this video, this live, this show, make sure you subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below and we'll chop it up. All right, so we got 6 topics we're going to cover tonight. I'm not going to waste any time. All right, I've had a really productive day and I want to keep that on a roll. I worked, I uploaded 4 times today, I believe. I worked out and yeah, now I'm doing this show on a Friday night. So we are productive and I just want to set the example for a lot of people who want to be in a better situation financially. You can do it, but it's going to take grit. It's going to take grit. All right, and that's where most people fail at. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the first topic, which is healthcare workers. All right, healthcare workers are apparently quitting. Let's see what's going on.
I quit dentistry. Holy shit, that feels weird to say out loud. After spending 8 years training, earning 2 Ivy League degrees, and getting dual certified in North America, I'm no longer going to be working as a dentist. Sounds dramatic, right? But dentistry is one of the most demanding jobs out there. More than half of dentists report burnout, and it's consistently ranked among the top careers with the highest stress. Because you're not just fixing teeth. You're an engineer, a therapist, an artist, a pharmacist, and a doctor all in one. You literally see people whose biggest fear is you. It's not easy. Your back hurts, your fingers cramp, and your mind is running at 200%. It's telling a patient their insurance denied the treatment you know they needed. It takes a toll, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And you feel stuck because you invested so much time and money into your education. For so long, this wasn't just a career. It was my dream and my identity. We were always known as the twin dentist. It doesn't just feel like I'm walking away from a job. It feels like I'm also walking away from a version of us. And it sucks. But here's the truth. None of these are the real reasons I'm quitting. Maybe you'll find out why I'm no longer working as a dentist in episode 3.
So she has episodes, but what we're going to find out is why other healthcare workers are quitting their careers. Long story short, what you see on the outside isn't what is always happening on the inside. There are pros to cons to everything. For example, healthcare workers. Okay, great. People always talk big about having a job and being needed in the industry, which I appreciate every healthcare worker that's out there. I do my best to take care of my health, but the skills, the stress management, the hard conversations, the patience that it takes to be a healthcare worker. Shout out to those who are in the healthcare industry first and foremost. Second of all, this happens with a lot of things in life. All right. For creating content, this happens a lot. A lot of people think that you just pop open your phone and you just record. And yeah, it is that easy, but the real challenge comes between you being consistent and keeping people's attention in order for you to make money, whether you have a business or you're getting monetized on a platform. It is difficult. It's not, that saying where everything that glitters isn't gold. You have to find your hard, okay? Literally, it's hard being a healthcare worker. It's hard being a content creator. It's hard working a 9 to 5, struggling to pay bills, but you're not going to escape it unless you have immense determination backed with action. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe and make sure that you leave your thoughts in the comment section down below.
This will be the 4th time I've attempted to quit my job as a doctor in the last 8 years. And I've now been thinking about it daily to the point where being in this limbo is consuming me. But I've decided that I either need to find my joy in medicine again or quit once and for all. I am absolutely aware that being a GP is a privilege. This is the job I worked so hard towards and for the most part allows me to have a life outside of medicine. And because of this, there is this overwhelming feeling of guilt when I even consider taking a break from being a GP. I mean, even if I call in sick for a day, I have this crippling guilt belt, so taking a substantial amount of time off makes me feel physically sick. It's also no secret that we are in an NHS workforce crisis. I've been there when you're holding 4 different bleeps on your shift because the rota couldn't be filled, and doctors are struggling to get jobs now more than ever. And when I became a GP, I would hear horror stories from my peers of fully qualified GPs becoming Uber drivers because of the lack of jobs. So isn't it stupid of me to give it all up? Am I not being ungrateful? I should feel lucky to have a job. The job that only gives me 10 minutes to take a history, examine, diagnose, make a management plan, safety net, and risk manage, and be expected to do that 36 times over in a day. For the system, that means patients are waiting months, if not years, to be seen and even diagnosed, and are just expected to get on and live with their symptoms in the meantime. Or for the system, which actually doesn't really value me as a doctor and what I bring, but in reality will replace me in seconds because I'm just a number to it. Doctors are out of jobs, the working conditions are unacceptable, and the system is failing. And I feel conflicted. I could leave, I could move countries, I could work privately, but me leaving will change nothing about this failing system that needs to change. I find my joy in the everyday interactions I have with my patients, but I'm not sure if it's enough to keep me working in the NHS. So yes, this will be the 4th time I've attempted to quit my job as a doctor in the last 8 years, but I'm not going out without advocating for the system to change. For me,
That's what's up. So she's trying to change the industry and make an impact. This is dedication. A lot of people would just leave, as we're going to see probably in the next video. But this is one of the things that, again, everything that glitters isn't gold. She says she's been contemplating on leaving for 8 years. Obviously, there's some type of patience that she has, something that she enjoys, something that she rather have versus quitting, right? Maybe it's the money. Maybe this is the enjoyment of actually taking care of people. I find it very interesting how us as humans can make a decision based off of one attribute of an activity, and then emotionally it feels like that's what we'll be doing the whole time, but that's far from the truth. Being a healthcare worker, you're going to get impatient people. You're going to get angry people. You're going to get a lot of stress. You're going to have people who aren't showing up to the job, or or companies that need workers, and you have a bigger workload than what you thought that you would have. And that adds way more stress. I've seen it happen because my girlfriend worked in the healthcare industry, and I've seen it happen so many times with the different careers that she's had. So again, shout out to the healthcare workers that are going through hell. But I respect her dedication for sure, because at the end of the day, a lot of people aren't going to try to change the industry. They're just going to get up and get out of there. She said it herself. Literally, her leaving and going to another job isn't going to change anything. So maybe she chose the wrong career path and it's taking her a long time to detach from it. But this is one of the things that I really don't like when it comes down to just getting a college degree. A lot of people build their identity on their career, and they can't find anything else that they'd rather do in order for them to make more than what they need when it comes down to their cost of living. So hey, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Are you one of these people who are stuck in a career that you really don't like? And why are you still staying there? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like this type of content.
So why are people, specifically doctors, leaving medicine? Well, being a doctor who's been in practice for the last at least 10 to 15 years, I would say that the medical industry in the world has changed dramatically, and not in a good way for doctors and healthcare providers. When I initially applied to medical school and decided to go into training to become a physician, I was under this impression that I was going to go through all this training, I was going to make all these sacrifices, and that at the end of it, I was going to add value to our society. I was going to be somebody who could take care of their community, who could make a real difference in the world. But in reality, it did not turn out to be like that at all. And I'm not saying I regret my decision of becoming a doctor, but I wish I knew a lot of this prior to going into training. Because once you commit to the medical world and being a physician, there's really no turning back, because it really starts off with the debt, the student loans. So most people, including myself, graduate from medical school with at least $300,000 to $500,000 in debt, student loans, from just becoming a doctor. And
I gotta pause it right here, because when I hear crazy statements like that, we just gotta pause it, man. Are you serious? $300,000 to $500,000 in student loan debt? There's no way I would become a healthcare worker and sacrifice having that much debt that I'd have to pay back, because I believe in paying back the debt. You get what I'm saying? But oh God, is it really that expensive? Let me know in the comment section down below. Is it really that expensive? And do nurses end up making enough money to pay that off in a reasonable amount of time. I was just watching another TikTok video earlier today, and I think the position was called a MSR. Don't quote me on that, but basically, I did research, and the annual salary of a certain type of nurse was around 150,000 to like the lower 300,000s. Um, but man, like this is insane. Most people who are in the healthcare industry don't make that much. All right, but let me know in the comment section down below, like, is it really 300, $500,000 just to go and become a nurse at some schools? That's insane. That's not a fair deal at all. And we made a video a couple months ago about how the Trump administration was calling nursing degrees unprofessional, and a lot of nurses got offended by that. And I can understand, because when you read the headlines, it's like, yo, that's an insult. How are we not professional? We take care of your health. But what people didn't understand is schools consider certain degrees professional, and that raises the cost of getting that degree. So if you remove the professional label, schools still teach nursing, but they have to lower their costs in order for that person to go to school and get that type of degree. Because the truth is, when you get student loans, the government has to say, hey, we're going to give you this money, but we're no longer going to fund people getting into nursing school for this price. You're going to have to either, one, lower your prices, or there's going to be an even more crazier demand of healthcare workers like nurses, which is a crazy thing to think about when college may just be cheaper, because that's something that, a lot of people would like, but they have to understand that's how the system works. Now, is that going to happen? I believe so. Wholeheartedly, I believe so. I think it was a good move, but time will tell. But so. Anyways, if you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, my people, we got the next video coming up. The next topic, which is Americans. They hate these data centers, man. It's actually pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and review some of these videos that's going on and what Americans are saying about data centers being built to support AI.
Get your ass up there, your ass who understands how bad data centers are for your community, then the old people who are the only people who go to these fucking meetings are going to vote yes because they hear it makes jobs. If you live in a city, this is especially important. I need you to go in and be the most annoying person in the room. This will not create jobs. This will pollute our air and water. This is the ugliest fucking building I can think of.
So this was a very shitty way for me to find out that in Eatonville, Florida, right, which is very close to me. It's just outside of Orlando, which is a predominantly black community, right? Historically disproportionate, like a poorer community. In Eatonville, they are building a very large data center. And not only that, but they are close to completion. They are set to be completed by Q1 of next year. And I hadn't heard anything about it because I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I also don't go to Eatonville. I used to go to Eatonville when I used to be vegan like 6 years ago, because there was a very good vegan Jamaican food place there, and it's literally been 6 years. But I just found out that, of course, they're building a data center in a very disproportionate community. And you want to hear something else that's fucked up about it? You want to hear how ghoulish this data company is? You know what they did to manipulate the people of Eatonville and manufacture their consent to build this data center there?
Built the casino.
They promised the people of Eatonville free Wi-Fi in exchange for this data center being built. So they manipulated these people. They took advantage.
I wouldn't say so much manipulate. People can make their own choices. We're all adults here, right? Okay, that's number one. Number two, AI isn't going away. If you don't know what data centers are, they are basically like a big warehouse where these tech companies store something called servers in, and basically something like YouTube right now, right? You don't have a YouTube computer in your home. You have a computer, or you have your phone, or you have a TV, or you have your tablet. And when you go to youtube.com to watch the show, you are connecting to the YouTube server, and so am I, in order for us to communicate. So they're like the middleman, right? So the data center is where stuff is stored. A lot of data centers are getting built nowadays because AI, GPT, Google Gemini, like they need to create warehouses with servers in them called data centers in order to help AI continue to do its job. The truth is AI isn't going away. And the more sad truth is, it's not even actually sad. This is just the truth. This is a class war. The less money you have, the more suffering you go through, financially, emotionally, spiritually, because I believe wealth is a spiritual thing. All right. And when you're in a community where you're exposed to more dangerous things, why do you think that is? This is why I make videos like this, because at some point, us as Americans, and everybody's not going to do it. I really don't care. But I'm talking about those who know there's opportunity, who aren't going to sit on their ass and complain and say, you know what? They should change this. Guess what? I was one of those people when COVID was happening, and I was really against these 5G towers. Man, they're everywhere now. They were talking about how immune systems were going to get weaker. They were talking about how people were going to die. And I'm pretty sure people died because there was some type of interaction between radioactive activity, because these 5G towers are lower to the ground than these normal 4G towers. End of the story. If you have an updated phone, it has 5G. Look, tech isn't going away. And yeah, it may destroy the earth as we know it, but the earth is not eternity. At least that's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a greater place. You know what I'm saying? I believe in the Most High. I'm not here to save the world. I don't got a cape on my back. But if it's one thing that I can control, is my energy, my time, my commitment, and my investment within myself to not have to be in these undesirable situations. That's not me saying I don't care about people with less, but the truth is they have control over their lives too. Bottom line, because AI isn't going away. It's just not. And these adults were not manipulated. If they chose to have free Wi-Fi, and the company had to ask the people who were living in the area if they were okay with that, and they gave in, that's them. You don't need free Wi-Fi. You're already paying for it, obviously. So it's like, really? Sellouts.
Of a poor community, promising them a utility for free to build this data center that will ultimately cost them more in what it will do to their air quality, the quality of their water.
Yeah, it sucks.
The energy consumption and the unsustainability of this place, it will vastly outweigh the benefit of having free Wi-Fi. So they manufactured consent to build this fucking place by taking advantage of a poor community. And I found out about this by reading it on Reddit when I was reading more about the data center being built. And people on Reddit were praising this like it's a good thing. So many people are so detached from the realities of like what these AI data centers actually do to these communities. And that's just, when I read that, dude, I swear to God, we don't hate AI enough. I hope that.
But like I said, AI is not going away. As many people say that they hate it, it's not going away for you. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, there had to be centers that were built in order to have the internet do its thing. Like, how do you think you're watching this video right now? How do you think you go on social media? How do you think you search things on Google and different search platforms? Like, yo, like, did you know that Amazon makes a lot of profit from having what's called Amazon, it's called AWS, right? Amazon Web Services. So when you watch Netflix, it's being used in a data center. Okay. A lot of people don't know that Amazon has their own servers, and Netflix technically rents out those servers in order for it to have its catalog so you can access. So this isn't anything new, but it is something that's going to grow in demand because AI is not going away. This is just a clear sign. The less money you make, the more exposure you're going to have to dangerous things, to things that aren't benefiting you. You don't even get access to the healthiest foods if you're lacking income. This is why I'm an advocate of having multiple streams of income and not depending on one source and just saying you have a high paying job and you've had this job for years. We just covered GM layoffs. People were talking about how they had jobs for 7 years and they got laid off because the company didn't perform the way it thought it would. You got to have multiple income streams in this world, man. And if you're just laying on your ass and you're just after work, you're just like, yeah, I make enough. Well, look, comfortability comes with the cost. It just does. I said what I said. Subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below.
This is our cold water pressure in the kitchen. This is where I fill up water for storage. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow, and that's just
crazy.
from the water coming out of your faucet.
Yeah. And this is what's in all the pipes. It's overwhelming because you really feel like you are up against this huge wall that you can't penetrate. There's nothing that you can do, and they don't care.
I'm here in Mansfield, Georgia, driving by Meta's new 2 million square foot data center facility. Facilities like this are being used to power things like ChatGPT and other AI tools that are becoming integrated into our daily life.
Data centers, going to be a very hot item.
This entire supercomputer is built to power Grok.
We see data centers as the most exciting asset class.
Meta is building a 2 gigawatt plus data center that is so large it would cover a significant part of Manhattan.
But data centers come with big costs, from light and noise pollution to the environmental impacts, to the potential rising costs of energy bills. These facilities put extraordinary demand on the power grid and require entirely new infrastructure.
Oh my God. They should be responsible for that, not us.
Search the internet for profits that Meta has made, Amazon, Microsoft. They can afford to pay for their own generation.
Your house is here, and the data center's right there.
It's less than 400 yards.
Beverly and Jeff Morris bought their home an hour's drive from downtown Atlanta in 2016, but their roots in the community run much deeper.
Being in the country has always just been my peace and my therapy. When we found this place, we decided that this was it. It was perfect.
I was actually raised probably 5 miles from here.
Now this is a turnaround because we just talked about people with less than, but they look like they're well off. You know what I'm saying? Like they look like they chose their home, their forever home. And it's sad hearing, you know, what people go through. Like her water was brown coming out the faucet, the air pollution, the noise pollution, like these things you can't control. But what can you do to stop it? Again, AI isn't going away. So what solution do people have? I'm not saying this is how we deal with every single problem. I'm saying I believe having more access to money helps you get away from a situation like this. You get what I'm saying? I'm a big advocate of focusing on what I can control versus not controlling. I mean, you could try to abolish, you could try to revolt against it, as we see many people on this channel with different things happening throughout the year, like canceling Black Friday, canceling Christmas. And there's just a handful of people who are going to do it, right? But those type of people usually stay in a situation that doesn't help them improve. They focus on what they can't control versus what they can control. And that's what keeps them in the same situation, to be honest with you. I feel for this couple. I feel for this family, because if it were my parents, and I'd be like, dang, man, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want my parents going through that, but I would definitely move them away from there for sure. I would definitely move them away from there for sure.
AI is destroying my city, and it's gonna come for yours next. Let me tell you about the most dystopian thing I've heard about this week. And I know it's not like my usual content, but I'm asking you to just get mad with me just a little bit. Data centers are colonizing Florida, and we're letting it happen. They're building data centers in the Everglades. The Everglades. And if you don't know what the Everglades are, I'm just gonna give you a quick little rundown. It's one of the most biodiverse, ecologically critical wetlands on the planet. And we're paving over it so that AI can generate more videos of dancing dogs or 6-legged cats. But it gets worse. Of course it does. It's AI. These companies are not just destroying natural ecosystems, which is bad enough already. They're strategically targeting predominantly Black communities, low-income neighborhoods, places that historically do not have the political capital to fight back. Places like Eatonville, right outside of Orlando, where they are nearly done building a massive data center that residents didn't even know was being built until it was too late. And you want to know what the worst part is? The part that genuinely makes my blood boil? They promised Eatonville residents free Wi-Fi in exchange for this data center to be placed in their city. Like they think they're doing them a favor. That's not benevolence, that's manipulation. That's manufacturing consent by dangling a basic necessity, something that should already be accessible, in front of a community that's been systematically denied resources, and then acting like they're the generous ones while they poison the air and drain the water supply. Because let's be clear about what these data centers actually do. They consume obscene amounts of energy. They require millions of gallons of water for cooling, water that could be going to actual people. They degrade the air quality of the surrounding areas. They create almost no job for local communities. They are loud, they're ugly, and they're permanent. I mean, come on, the cost benefit analysis of this is a joke. You're saying free Wi-Fi versus environmental degradation, increased energy costs, and health impacts that will compound over decades. Are we serious? That's not a trade, that's a con. And Florida and our representatives are letting it happen. We're letting them build these monuments to techno-capitalism in our wetlands, in our most vulnerable.
Yeah, money, people. A lot of stuff, almost everything revolves around money when it comes down to things like this. Being in a better financial situation, getting out of debt, having your assets work for you, having your money work for you. She mentioned earlier in the video that they're targeting Black communities. I personally don't like to label a community a specific color. Yeah, sure, they might be more of a color or ethnicity in one community than the other, but let's just call a spade, and let's just call it low income, okay? Because when you label a race to low income communities, I believe people take on that identity and they become victims. I'm not a victim of my color, all right? You get to decide. There's been people who've been Black, white, Asian, whatever, and they've gotten out of the situations that they once were in. Poverty is a mindset. It's adopting something that's called lack. And yeah, you might not have as many resources available as other people, but that doesn't mean that you can't get out of the situation that you're in. This is all about improving. I don't have the capacity in my mind to create excuses about why I can't better my life. Some people have kids and then they come up with excuses as to why they can't create the time to run a business or to do something that's going to earn them extra income. They're creating excuses. Excuses only sound good to the person that's saying it. And that is the truth. A lot of people ain't going to agree with me on that. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to speak the truth because I had to learn the hard way through my own life, even though I'm only 27 years old. But that mindset isn't going to save you from anything. It ain't going to save you from a data center, and it isn't going to save you from improving your life, which is exactly what you control. You can get out of a low-income community, and there will always be low-income communities. Don't get me wrong. But the thing that you can control is your own life, man. For the older people, man, I feel for them more because they might be, handicapped, or having health issues. It's so hard to speak about, you know what I'm saying? But if they've had children, man, I'm so motivated to make my parents, improve their lives, even though we're not near a data center. They're not near a data center, but it's like, if that were to happen, I got to move my parents out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, having a bigger purpose helps you look at life differently. You shouldn't be so comfortable as you are because stuff like this can happen in a heartbeat. And when it does, you better hope that you've been grinding and you can make the move that you need to move. This is chess, not checkers, man. The world has only gotten to more polluting things. I mean, we went from horses to cars. Okay, the cars have polluted levels of the air in the earth. I don't know what to call it, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's putting out pollution into the air. And then people get mad at EVs. Oh, because EVs, to create their batteries, they destroy a big portion of the earth. And they got labor across other countries. Listen, the poor struggle more than the wealthy. The poor struggle more than people who have more access to money. Ain't nothing to argue about, man. This should be motivation for everybody, man. This should be motivation to get up out the situation you're in if you're lacking income, because life is just going to swallow you up. If you're not working on improving your finances, getting out of debt, stop being a consumer and becoming a producer. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. All right, people, we got the third topic coming up. I'm excited to talk about this because I personally don't like insurance. I believe it's a scam, but it's the world we live in. Let's see what people have to say about canceling their insurance.
Everyone should cancel their health insurance today, and here's why. Number one, it's a racket. Number two, I have paid cash for any services that I've needed, and it's actually cheaper when you pay cash. Insurance is such a racket that if we all canceled it, they would have to do something about it. They would have to change it because they operate on our fear of getting sick, our fear of something catastrophic happening. You know what? If you racked up $100,000 bill, you pay them whatever you can per month for the rest of your life, if that's what it takes. But this fear and paying, my friend said she pays $18,000 a year in insurance. I said, what if you put that into a high yield savings account? And then if you ever need something, you have the cash to pay for it. I'm just saying, if we all canceled, they'd have to do something about it.
Now, that's a crazy idea. It's not too bad. Not too bad. And especially when insurance companies are very trifling about what they want to cover when it's time to actually cover it. Now, it all depends on your risk management, to be honest with you. If you rather be more risky and say, you know what, if something does happen, I will have to be in enormous amounts of debt in order to pay this off, then I will. Versus paying for something and you are healthy, unless something happens, a lot of money is poured into it, a lot of money is wasted, but you're paying for coverage. It's like getting an iPhone. It's like you're paying for Apple Care. And it's like, nothing happened to my phone. I'm still paying for it. It's like $15 a month. Okay, until my phone cracks. I've been paying this thing for 2 years. $15 for 1 year for 12. Let me just do the math. If you're paying $15, right, on your phone for Apple Care, $15 times 12 months is $180. That means you're paying $360 every 2 years. And your phone hasn't cracked until like the 5th year. Well, by that time, you would have paid how much? $900. You basically pay for a new phone, right? And when you get that screen replacement, it costs you $900 plus $20 or whatever they want to charge you, right? But you're paying because you want to have a peace of mind. That's it. That's all it is. And she's right. They do feed on your fear. Emotions. But we also see people make emotional financial decisions that they don't have to make, and they get an enormous amount of debt, like getting a house, getting a fancy car, spending on credit cards. People do this all around. It doesn't have to necessarily mean insurance, right? So let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe.
We are 5 weeks out from open enrollment, the day when we can all sign up for our health insurance. I took a closer look over the last week and realized that sky-high prices continue. I have a family of 4, and I'm paying over $25,000 a year solely on health insurance premiums, over $2,000 a month, and my deductible is still $7,500, which means my insurance doesn't really kick in until I spend $7,500 on medical costs that are actually in network. I'm at the point, honestly, where I'm thinking about foregoing health insurance entirely, which sounds like a pretty crazy and scary concept, but here we are. And how did we get here? Well, full disclosure, I used to work for a major Fortune 20 health insurance company for over half a decade. Know a thing or two about how we got here. I spent some time working on legislation, regulation, and legal issues, and I'll break it down for you. So, before the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, insurance companies were actually able to deny people insurance if they had complex medical conditions and or pre-existing conditions, commonly termed. And then after Obamacare passed, insurance companies could no longer deny anyone who wanted insurance. And they also were further restricted on what they were allowed to price the insurance based off. Think of risk factors. So now, on a go-forward basis, health insurers can only adjust your premium based on age, tobacco use, and location. So as a result, more people than ever now have health insurance, which is obviously a good thing, but the prices have skyrocketed as insurers are on the hook for ever-increasing medical procedures, hospital costs through the roof, drug prices are exorbitant and continue to increase, and the American population is generally morbidly sick and obese. Yeah, so here we are. Honestly thinking long and hard about whether I just forego insurance entirely this year. Would love to have an extra $2,500 in my pocket a month to pay for food, eggs, which feel like they're $100 a carton now, and would love to hear what everyone else thinks. So I'll share a story. I went to the ER last year actually because I passed out, fainted, couldn't walk, and my ER visit was actually more expensive because I had insurance and if I just paid cash, and then the ambulance ride was denied as, quote, not medically necessary by my health insurer. On top of this, I have 2 kids with pretty complex medical conditions. Most of the specialists I see are out of network, meaning they don't contract with insurance. And when I do submit a claim, my insurer denies it or pays pennies for the amounts owed. I'm not really sure where this goes from here, but I think it's fairly certain that health insurance prices will continue to increase.
I just want to ask you real quick, do you think insurance is a scam? His situation is very much different. He worked for an insurance company. He has kids that have a medical problem. He himself went to the ER. It ended up being more because he had insurance. Like, it can help, but it can also suck. And you're still paying. And if anything crazy were to happen, he said his deductible is $7,500 and he's paying $2,500 a month. Would you be willing to risk canceling your health care insurance? I personally wouldn't. And it's because I know I can always make an abundance of money. The healthcare insurance, sure, it'll go up. You know what I'm saying? But what's also going to happen for me is I'm always focused on making more money. You know what I'm saying? Every single year, I'm focused on making more money. What can you do? You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna risk, you know what I'm saying, being in extreme amounts of debt. Even if the insurance company is being trifling and they don't want to cover this, that, and the third. Listen, man, just make more money. That should be a motto we got going on this channel. Just make more money. You know, Nike, just do it. Just make more money. You know what I'm saying? People gonna be pissed about me saying this. I don't care. Well, Jay, not everybody can make as much money because they have undesirable situations. Just make more money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can find something they can do to make more money. You got to be in a different vehicle than what you're in right now, and do them both at the same time. But I'm not canceling my health insurance just because I can save an extra $2,500 a month, and I'm pretty sure his family is under that. You know what I'm saying? Under that policy too. Like, I would hate to see someone not be able to take care of their kid because they don't have insurance. Call it a scam, call it whatever you want, but I call it insurance because it gives me a peace of mind, at least a little bit, in saying, you know what, if something does happen, you know, we got insurance, versus I'm saving more money, but I'm being way more risky. You don't know what could happen, man. You don't know what can happen at what day and age. I'm good on all that. I put my risk management in my stocks, not with health insurance. Subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below.
Okay, so open enrollment is coming up, and we're clearly very qualified to be talking about this.
I am. I'm a genius.
We're trying to figure out if we want to cancel our insurance and pay out of pocket or keep insurance. Bottom line is we're canceling insurance. How much are we paying per month for insurance?
For me and Beckham, it's about $550 a month.
Okay, so we've done all of our research, and Tyler's going to share it with you.
Oh, yeah, me. Just for like a typical blood panel that I have to do every year for insurance through work is $280. Like a women's hormonal test, that would be $289. With insurance, it cost me $190 go in to do an EKG, which took a minute. I could have just done an echocardiogram for $280. The comprehensive panel.
They have sales!
$308 typically, $281 on sale.
Okay, so if it's just like a random Tuesday and you feel like you're kind of getting the flu or something, you can go to Amazon One Medical is $50, Texas Health Breeze is $50, or $205 if you go in office. If you go in office to Texas Health Breeze, they can do x-rays and COVID testing, things like that, just a little bit more
Amazon had a service
versus
like
your
that.
telehealth medicine. Call on doc, same thing, $30 a visit, or you can pay $45 quarterly, and then it's only $15 every time you need to call them. For children, Blueberry Pediatrics is $30 a month, or it's $216 a year plus a one-time fee for the kit, but I have a code for that if you need it. Both of those are 24/7. We've had Blueberry since Beckham was born, and it's been a lifesaver. I will have that for the rest of my life, as long as I possibly can keep him on.
So you're
it
not
until the age
canceling
of
it.
12. We also found JPS Health. I don't know if that's only a Texas thing or not, but if you make 400% or less of the FPL, the federal poverty level, you qualify for a discount. I think it was like 40% off of your medical bills. I mean, we're not people that get sick very often. Even if I am sick, I'm not going to the doctor unless I'm on my deathbed. So
Yeah, I
this
didn't.
makes
Let
no
me
sense
just
for
say
me.
this: I didn't recognize how valuable it was to like just take care of your health until like I started paying for my own healthcare insurance, and my mom would be like, "Oh, you're sick. Like you probably got a cold or something." I'd be like, "I want to go to the doctor." You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, and she was like, "Nah, you can wait it out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Eat some soup, drink some water, drink some water, have some medicine. Man, it costs to be unhealthy. I'm good. It's gonna cost to eat healthier, but it's also gonna cost to be unhealthy. I'm good. Screw McDonald's, screw the unhealthy foods, screw eating candy and just eating whatever you want. It ain't the time for that, man. I'd rather pay more money up front to have healthier food. I don't care about the price of damn eggs. Okay. You hear people on almost every other video talk about the price of eggs. Like, bro, you don't have to eat eggs, but if you like eggs, get your eggs. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna eat healthier before I pay more just for being unhealthy because food is cheaper. And if you're wondering, well, what about the people who don't have as much money? Again, the motto, make more money so you can eat healthier. It costs to be unhealthy, man. It's sad out here, but it's the truth. They make food unhealthy for a reason. That brings to my attention also the switch that happened to EBT at the beginning of this year. No junk food, no chips, soda, and whatnot, right? And there's a ton of people who are pissed off about EBT not being eligible to get junk food, right? But it's going to cost you in the long run. Junk food? Really? You want to fight for your right for junk food? Oh, but everybody deserves the... Listen, let's lose the entitlement mindset, okay? If you work and you get paid, you should get what you want. If we have to use taxpayer dollars to help fund you off of you not making enough, whether you decided to have a whole bunch of children, whether you're deciding not to work, whose fault is that? Yours. Not anybody else's. We're not responsible for you. We're not responsible for your junk food eating. Have healthy food, sure. It's an assistant program. You're not supposed to stay in it for the full time. I don't want to get off too far off topic though, but let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like this type of content. All right, y'all. So we got the next topic coming up. Right up, it's going to be the cost of living. People are complaining about it in America because it's just getting higher and higher, and people's raises aren't really matching the cost of inflation. So let's go ahead and cover that topic and react to it. Let's go.
In case you don't realize just how bad the economy is, no one is buying anything anymore. Oh wait, sorry, not no one. Actually, half of all consumer spending for the first time in history is just the top 10% of American households. You know what that means? Our economy is literally held up by wealthy people because they are the only people who can afford to buy shit. And by the way, this doesn't mean that wealthy people are so amazing because they're helping our economy grow. No, why do you think they're the only people that can afford anything? Don't even get me started on the ultra wealthy people, because get this, since the 1980s, billionaires' wealth has grown by 4,500%, while wages only grew by 15%. And while workers' wages only grew 15%, Rent went up 400%. College tuition went up 1,200%. Groceries went up 300%. So who's benefiting here? And here's a hint, it's probably not you. It's probably not your family, it's probably not your friends. So why are you defending them so hard? Oh, I think I'll be a billionaire one day, is what you say to yourself.
Get the F over yourself. These type of mindsets are hilarious. You don't have to want to be the richest person on the earth, but you can say, I'm not going to be earning money the same way everybody else earns money. It's not so much about, oh, the wealthy people are just greedy. I know wealthy people who make 20, 40, 60, $100,000 a month. And guess what? They're one of the most generous people you could ever meet. But you wouldn't know that because people love to make their judgment off of people who have a lot of resources. They've been pre-programmed. When they grow up watching Superman. Superman's enemy is Lex Luthor. He's rich, so he must be evil. They grew up watching Spider-Man. Oh, the Green Goblin. Oh, you know what? Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin, and he's rich, so he must be evil. So we grow up watching these pre-programmed things that make us believe that people who are rich and wealthy, they're just greedy and they take from us, when it's actually your own mindset. This guy said, go F yourself, with you having the mindset of, maybe I can get rich one day. Maybe I can get wealthy one day. Maybe you can just get in a different vehicle than trading your time for money, because that is the lowest tier, one of the lowest tiers. Okay? Physical labor is one of the lowest tiers that you can ever be in order for you to earn money. I don't care how much they're paying you per hour. There's only 24 hours in a day. I don't care how much overtime they give you. There's only 24 hours in a day. You're capped. And it's not because of the job. It's because of the time. We're all capped on time. From the day you're born, you're closer to death than you ever were. So the truth is, how do you multiply your work with subtracting the time that you spend to make that money? People sure, the cost of living has gone up. It's always gone up, man. It's always gone up, man. Like, I'm not making no excuses for nobody. I'm just not.
In 2 months, it's going to become completely unaffordable to live in the United States. And I'm not talking about luxury lifestyle. I'm talking about basic middle-class needs. I run a relocation business out of Costa Rica. I asked my clients, who are a couple from Bushwick, Brooklyn, why they were thinking of moving abroad. They sent me their monthly budget spreadsheet. So combined, they make $120,000 a year. And from that, they get to bring home about $7,400 a month after taxes. Their rent is $3,100 a month. And their health insurance is about to skyrocket to $1,750. They budget about $1,000 a month for groceries. Their utilities, internet, cell phones, and MetroCard are another $1,300 or so. So at the end of the month, this leaves them with about $250. And that doesn't include any unexpected expenses or the hope for investments or the hope for a savings account. So what they said to me is that this is what running in place feels like. And the reason that they want to move abroad is because they actually want to move forward with their life.
It's not going to solve the problem, bro. She just stated that their rent was a little bit above $3,000. Why is your rent $3,000? Now, I'm not into owning a home. All right. A lot of people are going to say, well, they should have owned a home. You're still adding debt. Okay. You're still adding debt. Oh, Jay, the equity. Hopefully the equity does go up. Hopefully the housing market doesn't crash. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Listen. I'm not building wealth on hope. I'm building it on principles. All right. Why is their rent $3,000? Why are their credit card payments like $1,200 a month? That's their fault. If they're making $120,000 a year combined and they only have $250 per month left over, that's their fault. Not the country's fault, not tariffs, not the cost of living. It's their fault. A lot of people, listen, the funny thing that you'll find about reviewing videos and reacting videos like this is this. Listen closely. I hope you're listening. Whenever you read the comment section, you'll always find somebody who's making more. All right. Talk about how little they can get. And then you got somebody who's making more and they're talking about how little they can get. And then the people who make less than those people, they say, oh my gosh, if I had that amount, I would be able to get so much. Listen, it's a mindset thing. You're keeping up with the Joneses. You're buying stuff you don't need. You're getting credit card debt. You're maxing out your credit cards. People are hilarious, bruh. To complain about the cost of living and then to be talking about somebody else's salary about what you could get, you're already in the wrong mindset. Oh, I would be able to live off of that. No, you need to be able to invest that. You feel me? Like, oh, you can't lie about stuff like this. You just can't. We've reviewed it so many times on this channel, going through the comment section of people talking about, I make $70,000 a year. Then somebody who's making $30,000 is like, man, if I had 70,000, I'd be good. And then somebody making 500,000 is like, yeah, it's hard to live. I make $500,000. And then somebody who makes 100,000 is like, man, if I was making 500,000, man, I'd be so good. I'd be able to have more kids. I'd be able to get this, and this. You're a consumer. You're not a producer. You're not even talking about how you can produce off the money you're already making. You got to change our mindset, man. It's about the first thing that you need to change is the content. This is why I created the Profit First show. Subscribe if you like the content, by the way. You need to think about profit first before you start thinking about the things that you can get. I had to learn that lesson. The money I make, it has to go right out the door into investments. At least a certain percentage of it. Why? Because I don't always want to rely on the money I worked for to supply my lifestyle. I would rather use the money I worked for to be put into a vehicle that is going to keep that same dollar amount, but multiply my dollars so I can make profit first and then pull the profit and get luxurious items. I'm good. That's a clear principle from the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you haven't read it, read it. If you heard about it and you're like, I don't want to read that because it's written by a rich guy. Listen, success leaves clues, man. At the end of the day, if I'm in shape and you're not in shape, and you look at me, it's going to be clear to be like, man, he knows what he's doing. So why do people feel the opposite when it comes down to people with money?
Bro, if I knew how bad the economy was going to be up to date, I wouldn't have been riding no bikes, playing no video games. I would have bought a house when I was 10. They did a study based on today's economy. Like, what should minimum wage be based on today's economy to make sure an American is comfortable living a day-to-day life, like with the prices, how the prices is up to date? Bro, do you know how much they say you need to make an hour to be comfortable around this motherfucker? $66 fucking dollars an hour. $66 an hour, bro. Who the fuck making that? That ain't even the kicker. You make $66 an hour. You work 40 hours a week. At the end of the month, guess how much you gonna have in whole? 10 bands. Oh no, but don't think you taking the whole 10 bands. You forgot about Uncle Sam. You're going home with 6,500. Maybe a 7-ball if you lucky. Okay, so eliminate all the bills and life expenses from that 6,500. You left, even motherfuckers who making $66 an hour after paying all their bills and life expenses at the end of the month, they only gonna be able to save a band or two a month. So regular motherfuckers like me and you was just cooked. We po. We just at this point we just on the internet seeing who can be po better. Who can be best at being po. Bro, if I knew how bad the economy was gonna be up to date.
Oh, so here we go. Another victim. Another woe is me. Okay, yeah, the economy is so bad. You know, if I was making $66 an hour, it'd be better. But who's making that? Obviously, you got the wrong people around you. There was this wise guy that once told me, I don't know what his name was, but I've heard it multiple times, right? But if you're the smartest one in the room, you're doing something wrong, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're aware of how bad the economy is and the cost of living is and how much you need to make in order for you to survive, or quote his words, be comfortable, which is just an emotion, by the way. People can say they're comfortable on 50 grand a year, 60 grand a year, $100,000 a year. Like they can say they're comfortable in any situation because it's an emotional word, right? Comfort. Okay. Anyways, there are people who make more than $66 an hour. There are people who make more than $66 a minute. How do you get in rooms like that? You got to start consuming and surrounding yourself. If you can't find people, you need to be on the internet looking at content that's going to help you change your mindset about money. This type of mindset is exactly what's going to keep people poor. This type of mindset is exactly what's going to keep people in that trap of begging their boss for a raise. Because at the end of the day, they're looking at how much they make compared to how much other people make. And then they're like, how? Well, here's how. That's a great question. Now you need to do the action to figure out how, not just turn around and be like, yeah, man, we just being poor on the internet. You understand people make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month just because of this device right here. You got one. You're already complaining on one. Why aren't you learning how to earn on one? Which, yeah, I don't want to start a business. You've already been in business. You've advertised yourself with the resume to the job that you have. Okay. You're getting paid for your time, even though that's not the best way to get paid, but you are the business. You. So remove the, listen, I don't expect my people to have this type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? People who've been rocking with me since I've started the show, and the people who are going to start rocking with me because they're watching this episode, this show. But it's just, this is a money belief. This is kind of reminding me of like childhood sometimes when, and let me know if you relate to this, right? Sometimes how you would ask for McDonald's. Oh, mom, dad, can I get McDonald's? Can we get McDonald's? You got McDonald's money? Bro, McDonald's got $1 menu. Are you kidding me? They got $1 menu. It's one of the cheapest places to eat, right? But I get it. Listen, everybody ain't got it like that to eat out on McDonald's at a spontaneous time. But how can we get there? Because they got $1 menu. At least let's figure out how we can buy something for a couple of dollars. And if you're like, well, Jay, they ain't got the $1 menu no more. Listen, they're still one of the most cheapest places to eat. You know the food ain't healthy. People eat there all the time. And then they be wondering after they spend all their money on bills and wasting their money and getting into debt, then they're like, well, I only got this much left over. You're budgeting with the money you have left over when you should have budgeted for the whole entire annual year. This is what businesses do. I learned that from a mentor. Shout out to Anton Daniels on that one. But guys, we got to be more wise about our spending. We got to be more wise about how we can earn more money at the end of the day. Subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. All right, my people, we'll be going on to the next topic back to back to back tonight. I told you it's going to be a ton of value. I'm not going to waste any time at all. We're going to go ahead and get into topic number 5, which is teachers are actually quitting after this New Year's. Now, a lot of you have known that my mom was a teacher for about 20 years, and I feel for teachers because I've seen her grind on weekends, creating lesson plans, grading papers. It is a job and a half to have a classroom full of students, 15 to 20 students being on your feet all day. Literally, it's like a big daycare. All right. Anyways, let's get into it. Subscribe if you like the content.
I'm a former teacher and now parent, and I can see a splitting that's happening in society, and it has nothing to do with politics. I did another video regarding this having to do with a splitting regarding technology and moderation versus not. This is something entirely different, but connected. The splitting is parents who teach their kids versus those that don't. Why are teachers leaving in droves? And many of them are homeschooling their kids. If you were just leaving, it's one thing, but leaving and pulling your kids is a whole nother part. Generally speaking, here's what I saw. First of all, it is not cool to learn at all. It's not cool to be respectful to teachers or people in general. Being a victim is viewed as a good thing. And from a general sense, we have dumbed down schools. We are eliminating gifted classes, and just the class structure itself has changed. So what an honor student looks like today is not what it looked like 20 years ago. And the bottom, which used to be a baseline of had some semblance of knowledge and intellect, is now unable to read, unable to write, unable to think. And the school systems are passing these kids along regardless of that. Now, what teachers see is the dumbing down of society, the bringing everyone down. And so you might be the parent who's saying like, but I teach my kid, so they're going to be okay. Are they? Because if the school is now moving everything downward towards the bottom and having to deal with these bottom, is your kid being challenged, being pushed? Because what I've seen is that it now no longer is good to push through hard. If a kid,
you know, and this is the it's so crazy how we can connect the dots. I promise you, I don't watch any of the content that we react to live on the show at all. I might watch like the first 3 seconds, right? But shout out to this guy because he's telling the truth. I know he is because my mom was telling me the same thing a couple years back when she was a teacher. She was like, they're dumbing down what the kids actually have to learn in order for them to get past, and they're just passing them regardless. But what does it sound like to you? It sounds like to me, it's grown-ass adults that have the same mindset. I wonder why. Because they have the same mindset as to where schools are teaching kids, hey, you don't have to try as hard. You know what I'm saying? You can still pass, you can still get away, you can still be comfortable, which is what the trap that they want you to fall in. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to think out the box. They want you to raise your hand. Well, don't get me wrong, certain grade levels, they need that, right? They need that structure, but they want you to ask for everything, ask permission for everything when you have the control over your own life. If you're asking yourself, where did my money go? Why is it going out so fast? Why is everything so expensive? It's because you've adopted the victim mindset, and children are being taught not those things, but these principles, these actions that make them feel an emotion, that make them say, you know what? I'm throwing my hands up because anyways, we got to live some way. I got, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm trying. Just because you try doesn't mean that you did your best. Just because you try doesn't mean you deserve to get to that next step. It just doesn't, right? And we're talking like on a broad span here. This is multiple grade levels that are doing this. I know this because my mom was a teacher for 20 years. You can quote me on that one, man. Like, it's insane what's happening right now, man.
Complains and they're like, no, this is too hard. We are very quick to be like, all right, well, here's a way of making it easier. That's not how we grow. And it should be teachers who know this. But it doesn't help that they're not getting the support to push the upper level kids up higher. And because they're so busy with dealing with the bottom that they can't deal with the top. So then there's this split. And the top ones are not being challenged or pushed as much as they should be. And the bottoms are the ones being catered to, but it's so hard to move them anywhere with absolutely zero support from
This kind of sounds like the wealth gap to me. I just wanted to implement that, like insert this right there. It sounds like the wealth gap, even though you're in, like, your kids may be in school and it's like, well, they're not dealing with money, but it's the mindset behind it. You get what I'm saying? The have and have nots, those who are excelling and those who barely push. Call it what you want, but I think poverty is a choice.
And that's what it all comes down to. The parents that spend time at home teaching their kid, pushing their kid, challenging their kid so that they excel and keep moving upward and learning how to deal with failure are going to do so much more in life just in general than the ones who are continued to be like, it's okay. It's okay to be offended. It's okay that you can't read. It's okay that you can't do that. We're just going to push you along. We're just going to push you along. It's fine. And along with this, it's a total lack of emotional intelligence, which is why a kid tries something, fails, and then it's, I'm stupid.
What did I just say? Just because you try doesn't mean you deserve to get to the next step. Just because you try doesn't mean you did your best. I don't even like the word try, because try, like, oh, I'm trying to, make more money. I'm trying to succeed and pass this test. You don't try to pass. You either do it or you don't. You either work on it or you don't. You're either committed to it or you're not. You don't try to do anything. Try is an ugly word to me because it gives you the excuse to say, I gave an effort, but something was unfair along the way. I tried. You tried? Really? What do you want out of trying? Nobody ever deserved or won a race or got something super accomplished. Like, they never accomplished something extravagant by trying. They just did. And if they failed, then they pick up the sticks and went back to work. It's called tenacity. And a lot of you watch my videos. I know you know tenacity because I see that the generations that are younger, they're not getting taught that. But the older generations, like, I've always looked at people in a characteristic way. Whether it was a mechanic working on a car and he has tenacity of finding out what the problem is, I'm like, man, you got really good at that. How did you learn that? I had this problem myself years ago, and I learned how to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, working through problems instead of sitting, pouting, feeling pity. Again, this happens with grown-ass adults. Oh, the economy. Somebody got to be making money in the economy, bro. Somebody has to. Somebody's making money. Oh, let's blame them instead of actually doing. Oh, I tried to make more money. I tried to get a raise. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't. So I'm going to blame my boss. I'm going to blame the economy. I'm going to blame... No. And the thing is, kids see this. They hear it. They hear the conversations about money, all right? Lack of something. And they adopt it. That's exactly how some grown-ups actually carry on and carry that to their kids. It's a generational curse.
I'm dumb, I'll never know this. Fixed mindset, closed mindset, and not having the mental capacity to understand that it's okay to fail, it's okay to make mistakes, and challenging things make you grow. That's why the thing is, whether the teacher leaves or doesn't leave, their kids are going to have a leg up because teachers realize that this is what's happening in schools and know that they have to challenge their kid more at home because it's not really going to be happening at school. And we're honestly seeing the beginning stages of the movie Idiocracy, where people get into society, they're kids that are going to become adults, where they can't read, they can't write, and they're so easily manipulated because they're always just flowing with the cool thing, and they're like, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Okay, I guess everyone else is doing this, so I'll just do it. There's absolutely no critical thinking, and that's how you end up with, wait, Gatorade is better because it has electrolytes. Come on, bruh. You should know that. And the thing is, that's moving towards the majority. So yeah, what are the things that are splitting us? It's the use of technology, it's the use of AI, and it is just plain and simple parents. And yes, the kids who only have one parent or divorced parents definitely are going to have an even tougher time with this because that's a...
I don't think AI is going to make people stupid. I think the way people use AI makes people stupid, but it's also going to make a lot of people have a lot more information in a very short amount of time because honestly, AI reads stuff on the internet and stuff. Like, we've been having the internet and search engines for a long time now. The same source of information that would have taken you minutes can take seconds for AI to give it to you. So yeah, he lost me with that one, but I do agree with most of what he said. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below.
The amount of videos that keep rolling through my timeline of teachers that are not returning to the classroom after the winter break tomorrow should have you parents concerned. But let me tell you why they're not coming back. Because of the other videos that we keep seeing of you delusional ass parents and your bullshit. Case in point, there's a lady right now that is so upset. She is livid that her son cannot participate in the school play because that is a consequence from him pulling down another kid's pants at school.
What?
She said, boys will be boys. Not her freaking son is a bully. And
I'm not finna get a copyright strike because of that music in the background, but discipline your kids so they know right from wrong. They know right from wrong. They're just not afraid of the consequences. How do I know that? I was a kid once. I wasn't afraid of the consequences. My mom had to tell me a lot of times, do you think before the actions that you made, before you did this? I was like, you know what? Nah. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't anything that really taught me to think twice about the actions that I made or think about the consequences that could happen more than taking away my electronics. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm a huge nerd. I got computers, I got iPhone, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm very tech savvy. I love electronics. But yeah, discipline your kids. It makes the teachers' jobs more difficult when they're not acting right. I think that's more, I can't even call it simple. I'm not a parent, but I do know that communication isn't communicated unless it's interpreted in a way where a kid understands, maybe I shouldn't do this. To be crying about your kid not being able to be a part of a play, man, what? Missing me with that one. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below.
America, I didn't quit teaching. It's crazy because I didn't think I'd be making this video so soon. I knew at some point I would cross paths and I need to make it, but not like this.
At some point.
I want to clear the air before anybody get to assuming I was not fired. I was not forced to resign or anything like that. I actually quit because I had some family issues going on that I needed to attend to. And so I had to go home and visit family and stuff like that, make sure they were straight. But even aside from that, had these issues like with family not have happened, I still would have probably quit. Just because the school I was at was just a hostile work environment. To be honest with y'all, it's not the kids, bro. The kids wasn't the problem. It's the adults,
The kids
bro.
this time.
The adults that I work with, they just be doing too much, man. And if anybody watched my videos, y'all know I got the patience of a saint. So like, If I tell y'all the adults the problem, it was the adults, bro. The adults are the problem. About 2 weeks ago when this happened. And I've been depressed, you know. I never think I'll probably jump online and tell y'all that I'm depressed. I'm one of them people that really keep stuff within my inner circle, but I figure being a content creator, you know, you all have helped me build this platform as well, share this stuff with y'all, you know what I'm saying? I want to say that I'm going to go back to teaching. Not a forever with teaching, I'm not, at least not right now, at least, you know, but I am going to get back into teaching. But yeah, man, like, I'm really at a point where I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what's next for me. I just feel like I'm at a point now where I've hit my ceiling with content creation, and I can't get through that.
All right, bet. So I thought he was going to be talking about like teaching more, but he left because of a family emergency. I can understand that, you know what I'm saying? But he said that his workplace wasn't too great either way because of the people he was working with. So he sounds like he doesn't want to go back to that school, which brings it to a whole nother level. It's like not only are you dealing with kids and how their parents teach their kids and the stress of teaching kids, but you're also coworkers. Didn't even think about that in the beginning, but have you ever been a teacher? Have you ever had hard to work with coworkers as a teacher? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what was your experience and what was the situation that happened.
Did we all quit during the break? Because I came back to work today and there's some teachers gone. Students are asking if the teachers got fired. Of course, that's what a kid would say is like, oh, did this teacher get fired? They might have resigned. Teachers, what's going on? Did everybody resign over Christmas break? Did we all quit during the break?
So this teacher literally came back and saw teachers missing and stuff. And yo, the kids are hilarious. Like they're gonna come up with conspiracies, and I don't know how she's answering them, but to be a teacher and then have your coworkers just not show up after they're like responsible for kids and stuff is crazy. That's how you know it's getting bad out here with teaching and the curriculum that they're given and the environment that they're working in, and also the kids and also the coworkers. Like it's a lot. I would not want to be a teacher unless I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I do like teaching, but not like that. Wouldn't want to have a full blown classroom. But shout out to the teachers. I didn't say that this whole show, but I just want to say shout out to the teachers because I know they work their ass off. I know they deserve to get paid more, but you know, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be asking for salaries or whatnot, but I just know that it's a big job, man. That's a big job. I'm good. I got one niece, two nephews, and three nephews actually. I'm good. Babysitting, I'm good. Like taking 20 students, I'm good. You gotta love teaching, man. I'm good. And I love kids. But 20 at the same time, I'm good. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, my people, we are approaching the last topic of tonight, which is actually people being in crazy amounts of debt. Crazy. And I mean, most of these people are like my age, like in their 20s, in their early 30s. Some of them, you know, not, but the numbers just don't add up. That's why we created this third topic, or this, not third, sixth topic. I told you it was going to be an eventful night. Let's go ahead and get started with that and react to it. Subscribe if you like the content.
How do y'all have no debt? I need to know. There are days like today where I just want to go on a rant about debt. I have $40,000 worth of debt, and that does not include my student loans or my mortgage, because those are things that they get paid when, well, the mortgage gets paid all the time. Obviously, student loans, whenever they come back on, okay, whatever, I'll have to pay that. But I am talking about daily living expenses debt. How do you not have debt? Maybe you guys do and you're just not telling everybody, and that's perfectly fine. Do whatever is best for you. I don't normally tell people, but I've been sharing my recipes, and I'm doing a series on share my recipes to help pay down my debt, because how else am I going to do it? It's going to be a continuous cycle. Like, I'm not spending money on like getting my nails done, going buy new clothes, new shoes, new bags. No, I'm getting diapers. I'm getting wipes, I'm getting formula, I'm getting groceries, things that are a necessity for us to quite
She
literally
is
stay
with
alive.
child.
I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks this or goes on rants about debt, but something's got to give. The economy's got to change. I can do some things on my part as far as maybe I can make more money. Hello, TikTok.
Oh God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Bro. Woo. I read this book once, right? And it talked about how people like us are grown in a society and an economy where we think, you know, once you get your degree, once you get a professional job that's paying you a livable wage and you move in with somebody and marry them, you want to get the white picket fence, the dog, the kid, the house, the cars, the couch, the furniture that's in the house, and then you end up in a lot of debt. This is called the rat race. You don't even have to be comparing yourself to someone. Keeping up with the Joneses is a whole nother level. But so many people were lied to. Oh, you're able to afford a child. Yo, let me tell you this right now. I'm good on having a child unless I'm a millionaire. I don't care what nobody said. Jay, you shouldn't want that much money in order to take care of a child. Listen, I'm not raising a child in a world where I have to struggle for money. If I'm not able to take care of me and mine in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm not creating another being in suffering to pay for diapers and the sacrifices to be in more debt. You can miss me with that, man. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to my girl the other day, and she was explaining how she was talking to someone with a serious conversation about, you know, waiting, making sure that, you know, the person that you marry, you create enough time in order to know that you want to marry him and create enough time to make sure you know you want to have a child, right? And don't get me wrong, we can't predict the future, right? Sometimes you still marry and still have a child by the wrong person. But so many people try to rush into this lifestyle. I've had so many people. I'm at the age of 27. I've had so many people tell me, "Oh, when it's time for you to have kids." Like, yo, I'm good. Do you see? I'm building a legacy right now. Okay, you feel me? Like, I'm good. That's an extra responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And I love kids. I got nephews. I got nieces. You know what I'm saying? Or a niece. Yeah, I'm good. People miscalculate how much it costs to have a kid. I'm like, what is she? She says she's not buying shoes, clothes, fancy stuff, purses, whatever. Like I said, she's with child, man. Yeah, she got to make more money. I'm glad. Like, that statement at the end of her video saved the whole topic. There we go. This is the type of mindset I like. That you want to hang around people like this. Shout out to this creator. Listen, I link all the creators in the description down below anyways, but shout out to her for sure.
I am 22 years old and I am in $91,300 worth of debt, and I am filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy today. I've had such a bad financial burden the last couple years. So after meeting with an attorney and doing lots of research, I realized that filing bankruptcy really isn't as bad as it's made out to be, and it was truly going to be my best bet. I decided to file Chapter 7, and truthfully, my consumer debt really is not that bad. A lot of people have it a lot worse financially, but for me, $91,000 was just too much. It was uncomfortable, and I just wanted to get a fresh start. I moved to Texas directly after high school, and I made a lot of very irresponsible decisions financially and really dug myself into a big hole of debt. I decided, let's go ahead and file bankruptcy. Let's give myself a clean slate. That way I can stop stressing and I can actually do better. Okay, just to give you a little breakdown of the debt that I do have that totals up to the $91,300. I owe about $51,000 on the vehicle that I have. We did try selling that, trading it in, all that good stuff, but I have way too much negative equity to come out on top. I bought a motorcycle back in 2022.
Why do people be getting new cars, bruh? I'm good. A car, 50 grand on a car. On a car, y'all. We gotta cover more topics like this, because this is the type of stuff that gets me heated, bro. A car. Listen, my dad always bought used cars. I didn't understand why. I would always tell him, Dad, why wouldn't you get a new car? Why wouldn't you get the new one? I grew up, had to buy my first car. Guess what? I'm getting a used car. Then he's telling me, he's like, remember all those times you told me to get a new car? And asking me, why didn't you get a new car? Oh, I understand now. People be rolling their debt into getting a new car just to get rid of the car that they don't want no more, and they still owe money on that car. I'm good. Just for 4 wheels, I'm good. I'm good. Man, 50, bruh.
That's a great idea. I owe $5,000 still on that. Same thing. Tried selling it, not able to get what we owe out of it. I do own a camper, and I owe about $13,400 on that. However, I live out of that camper because I can't afford a house. So I am keeping that since I do live in it. I have $2,200 worth of medical bills that I had no idea were in collections. And then I have $12,000 worth of student loans. However, those do not get forgiven with bankruptcy, so I will still continue that payment. And then I have about $7,700 worth of credit card debt, all coming into a grand total of $91,300. So after meeting with an attorney, she decided filing Chapter 7 is going to be my best bet. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Since I was referred to her from somebody that is currently filing bankruptcy with her, she did cut me a discount. So my bankruptcy is only going to cost me about $1,100. So I've already paid all of those fees to her to do a free consultation with her. And then after I decided to go ahead and file, I paid a deposit and I received a workbook. I went ahead and filled that workbook out and everything. And it just pretty much, it needed all my information, my income, all my belongings and stuff like that I have. And then I listed all of my creditors as well. So thankfully you are able to actually pick and choose what you do file on whenever it comes to bankruptcies. I did decide to surrender the truck, and then I am surrendering the motorcycle as well. I am keeping my camper, and I will have to keep my student loans, but otherwise everything's gonna be wiped clean. So we're gonna go ahead and go in, we're gonna sign a little bit of paperwork, get everything finalized so she can actually file that. So let's go.
Yo, I don't know what be happening when people get bankruptcies. I know it stays on your credit report for years. But let me know, like, have you ever filed bankruptcy? Have you ever known someone who filed bankruptcy? And how did it go for them? I'm just curious. Let me know in the comment section down below.
So the first document is called your petition, and it just has identifying stuff on it. What's your middle name?
Anne.
With an E or without an E?
Without.
Do you currently own your own business?
No.
2012 Volkswagen Passat.
All right, we're gonna go to the next video. Subscribe if you like the content.
You may not agree with me on this one, but I'm going to say how I feel. I don't think taxpayers should have to eat the cost for student loan debt. I don't. I went to college. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. I took out loans. I paid my loans back. That is what one does when they are fiscally responsible. We don't just keep throwing money at a situation without addressing the problem first. If people are taking large amounts of money for student loans without having any way to pay them back, that is a problem. I understand that college is expensive. I think it's totally ridiculously expensive. But that doesn't mean that as a country, as taxpayers, we should just pay off your student loans. Agree? Disagree?
I agree.
Let me know. I'm really intrigued to know what other people think on this one because I don't want to pay off student.
Yeah, I 100% agree with her. I don't believe taxpayers should have to supplement off of what people can't pay. I don't care what you say. When you sign your name, it means something. And I had to learn that the hard way. You know, just writing JA as my initial I don't take that lightly no more. Because that means that I am responsible for something. I'm responsible for something that I said I was going to take care of. And even though I believe I was at too much of a young age to be getting into college, I wasn't mature. I didn't have the mindset I have now. I for real chose the college that I went to, Norfolk State University, because I was interested in girls. You know what I'm saying? I heard it was a party school. I was like, oh, that's, you know what I'm saying? I was very distracted by women. At the end of the day, though, pay your bills. Nobody else is responsible. And what this is going to do is build strength for you and I. Because I owe student loans too. It's going to build strength. It's in the next time you sign your name on something that you got to borrow, if you ever have to borrow something again, you're going to take it more, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going to take it as lightly. That's just the truth. You know, I know you want to resist it. I know people have this victim mindset. Oh, I can't. The economy, the jobs out here. You still signing papers. You still sign them papers. Oh, well, you know, college gives me a better opportunity to have a higher paying job, and I don't have a higher paying job. College never promised you a higher paying job. College promised you a degree. The degree isn't promising you a higher paying job, it's giving you the opportunity to possibly get a higher paying job. I agree with her. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content.
Hi, my name is Sierra. I am 18 and I am over $500,000 in debt. So come cook dinner with me and clean my kitchen while I talk about how I got here. Okay, so we're gonna be making the trashiest Midwestern dinner, tater tot hot dish for my boyfriend because he won't eat the healthy food I ate. Okay, so let's talk about the first thing that got me started off having any debt in the first place. This year in May, I think it was, right before the summer, I purchased my dream car. And a little backstory actually first. So I've been working full-time since I was a sophomore in high school. So I did not go to school. I worked full-time and did online school while I was working. So I've been making a full-time income as a manager of a spa the whole time. So I was able to be in this position. A little bit of a side story for that. So with that being said, I ended up buying a 2025 Honda CR-V hybrid at the beginning of this year. And I will insert a picture of it here so you can kind of get an idea what it looks like. It would not let me insert a picture, so here's her right now. Don't mind the dirt. She doesn't get a car wash ever, but... And I'm going to be completely transparent because that's why you're watching and I love when other people are. So I ended up paying, I think it was $49,000 after everything for that. So it was around $49,000. I don't remember what my down payment was, but...
49 grand for
I
a
now
Honda?
owe, I think, like 23, 22 on it. And my goal is to pay it off in the next few months, or at least by the next year it has to be paid off. So that is where the first amount of debt comes from, and that will hopefully be paid off soon. But that's why I'm making this, to hold myself accountable and to make sure that it gets paid off. And I love watching these. That Caleb guy has been all over my For You page, so it inspired me just to be transparent because everyone's life looks great, but it's really a bunch of debt. So forgot to video me skipping this in, but that is the debt for my car. So that is a small percentage of the $500,000 that I claimed. So the other big portion is going to come from this house. We just moved in and closed November 1st.
All right, I don't even need to hear the price of the house, bro. I don't even need to hear the price of the house. Home ownership. Hate me or hate me. Home ownership is a scam when you don't have the money to take care of the house, when you don't have the money to pay it off in cash. I don't care what anybody says. People say you own the house when you're paying the mortgage. You don't. You need to pay off the mortgage. Oh, you own the house after you pay off the mortgage. You don't. You still have to pay property taxes. They can take you out of your house if you're not paying a consistent bill. I get it. Home ownership gives you more freedom. At what cost? Hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. She just said that she's $500,000 in debt. I guarantee you the house is the biggest portion of that. And for what? To say you own something? Just like the car? Oh, I own the car, a brand new car, right? You can own a car, but you can own a used car too. But you had to get a brand new one. Man, people's priorities are really messed up. Or they're just not aware until they make the mistake and then they owe all this money and they find themselves in this trap. That's what most people, I believe, do. I'm good. I don't care if I have to pay rent for the next 10 years. I know that when things happen like sewage, right? My parents have to get a new water heater, right? I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I had a coworker who had to get a new water heater and his water heater cost him $8,000. If something is wrong in an apartment, you just call maintenance. You already paying for it. I'm good. And I'm going to stack my money and I'm going to invest my money and I'm going to make more money while I'm paying rent and not responsible for the little tacky things that get broken in a home that cost a lot. And if people say homeowners insurance, okay, cool, whatever. But it still costs more to take care of a home than it is with an apartment. Okay. I'm good, bro. You cannot convince me. I'm good. I won't be buying a home unless I can buy it cash. Jay, that's crazy. Okay, it's always crazy until it's done. It always is. But there's people who buy homes cash, just like they buy cars cash. Again, it's a war between the have and have-nots, literally. But I'm going to go ahead and let this play out because I'm interested to see how much her house costs.
So with that being said, I bought the house with my longtime boyfriend, so it is not on me, it is both of our loan. So the house, not that I wanted to share this information, but I guess we're being transparent. The house, after we put our down payment down and paid all the fees and whatever, came out to 503 is what the loan amount was for. So we have a $500,000 loan under us for that, which we have a 30-year loan for that, and my goal is to get that paid off as fast as possible. So hopefully not 30 years. If so, this is gonna be a long series I'm making for 30 years to pay off my house loan. And so with that being aired out now, that is the debt I'm dealing with and working on paying off. I am making a goal to post about it and be transparent about it because I feel like it's extremely realistic and it's hard for other people to put themselves in, compare themselves to other people when it's literally all just a bunch of debt. Everyone is just in a ton of debt. And if you're not, congratulations.
Shout out to her.
But the
Even
rest
though
of
I
us
tore up
are.
the video.
So this is just me personally, what debt I have and what I'm working through. A lot of people wouldn't count their house as debt, I feel like, whenever anyone talks about it, but it is in fact debt. So follow if you want to see more of my debt payoff journey.
Yeah. Shout out to her. I like her content. Okay. Her link will be in the description down below on TikTok. But yeah, the house is debt. You know what I'm saying? People don't be counting it as that because the banks don't count it as that, but you're paying interest on the house that you haven't paid off in cash. Okay. And on top of that, right? The banks count it as an asset because they can take that shit back. You know what I'm saying? And put it back on the market. Like if you don't own it ever. You don't. That's been a lie. If you don't pay your property taxes after your mortgage is paid off, they can take it away. You don't own it. You never do. On top of that, if you don't pay it, you can't like sell it because it's just like you haven't paid. Home ownership, man. You can miss me with that one. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. All right, my good people. That was a great show. It was very, very value-packed with a lot of videos. I got a lot of editing to do. I appreciate everybody who has watched, tapped in. Let me know your thoughts on the show. Yeah, I might, you know what? I got my email in the description too, where you guys can start emailing me videos that you want me to react to, or even topics you want me to react to that are happening, that are trending in the popular culture. Okay. Other than that, I appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you so much for the 1,000 subs mark we hit this month. Thank you so much for watching my video and taking out time out your day to listen what I have to say and share. As far as like reacting to these videos as well. I will see you guys on the next show on Monday. I'm out. Peace.